Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. We're on a United show today, Devil's Advocate, and today I'm joined by two very special guests here today. So I'm joined here by Greg from the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast, Devil's Advocate show, and below me we are joined by Amy from Three Devils and a Gooner, also a branch of the weekly Armchair Kickoff, and also another podcast regular. So we're joined by two podcast regulars here today. We're also due to be joined by Bitz N Bobz. He'll pop in here soon as well. And so we're here to preview Manchester United versus AC Milan. Massive game in the Europa League, and also we're here to discuss obviously Bruno Fernandez's contract situation. We're also going to discuss the recent appointments of John Murtaugh as director of football and Darren Fletcher as technical director. So there's a lot to talk about here this evening. And before obviously we delve into a football conversation that's going to come to the two guests here. Firstly, Greg, how are you today? Haven't talked in a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm still high from Sunday. Still good, so hopefully we can carry that into tomorrow as well. It'll be great. So Man United tend to determine my mood, especially this time of year. So as long as we keep winning, I'm sure I'll stay in a good mood.
Yeah, do you know, I had an extra spring. I know I was talking to you on Monday. I had an extra spring in my step when we beat City. I was just extra happy, and I've been like that all week. I've been doing content every day. Obviously before this, I was on 2 shows literally before this as well. Delighted to be talking about United because obviously we're on the up and big news, so I'm very good as well. Amy, haven't seen you in a couple of days since before the show the other night. I know you've been a very busy woman, being on podcasts and all different shows yourself recently, and you had a busy evening. How are you this evening?
Yeah, grand, not too bad. Very tired, so cannot wait for the weekend.
Yeah, we're nearly at the weekend now. Do you know? I suppose for me, I can't complain about being a long week because I've been off work all this week, so I'm not going to complain myself. I know both of you probably have more of a right to complain than I do, but sure, look, that's just the way it is. Shane's in the house as well. In the comments, Shane says, "Great panel, my friend." Shane Dowdy is watching the show and probably watching the Champions League and probably slagging off the rival fans at the same time. He's some man for multitasking, that man, Shane Dowdy. Shout out to Shane. But yeah, let's crack straight into it. Obviously, big game on the weekend, and we had against Manchester City. 2-0 win. My opinion, we went to the Etihad and just bossed it. Like we really did. We did a very professional performance by us. Could have been more. And to win the Manchester Derby, it's always good regardless where you are in the table. Form goes out the window. Greg, I know we done a full review kind of on the game on Monday. We had a fantastic chat here reviewing the game there on Monday, but kind of looking back, you've had a couple of days to digest. What are your kind of overall thoughts on the derby the weekend? Do you think we can maybe bring that confidence into AC Milan tomorrow night?
Well, yeah, I think over the last couple of days, I think when the game first ended, the opinion that I sort of had were like, right, well, we played well. On another day, there's a chance to sort of drop to City, and we probably do get beat. But it seems to be the general idea, even through the media over the last couple of days, is that it's changed, and that Man United were pretty. The look of the game has changed, and that Man United were pretty dominant in that performance. And we kept a free-flowing City side who scored 5 again tonight. We kept them really to scraps and missed chances and everything like that. But I think it's key to remember that the team we set up to beat on Sunday was Manchester City, and if we set up to beat every team like that, we will get pasted sometimes. That very high line, if they've got fullbacks particularly that are going to stay wide, then we will struggle. So if AC Milan set up like that, then I don't think it's a good idea to play with the same sort of formation and the same style of play. I think tomorrow will be a lot more pragmatic from Ollie. I think it'll be more what we're used to seeing, sort of just waiting for a gap and try to see if we can pick it off and maybe give them the ball a little bit more and see what we can do in the counter-attack. But I think tomorrow, with the players that AC Milan are missing in their squad, it's a massive chance to kill the tie. And that's what we should be looking to do, especially at home. We need to go out and kill it, like what we did at Sociedad. I said, I don't think I've experienced it. There's not been a weirder experience in the last little while watching football when we were 4-0 up on Sociedad, and I was watching that game. I was like, this literally doesn't matter. Like, as long as they don't score in the first 10, I felt pretty confident that we were going to be absolutely fine. So we need to do that again. We need to just go out with the players that they're missing, They're of course missing Theo Hernandez, who for my money has been the best fullback in the world, or in Europe anyway, this year. He's got more creative assists and everything like that from the back line than any other defender in Europe. So the fact they're missing him, that's a big way that they play. I think it's a really good chance for Man United to hit them hard and really put 3 or 4 past them tomorrow if we take our chances correctly and if we set up correctly to do it. And that's not setting up necessarily the same way as we did on Sunday.
Yeah, like I look at this game, like you look at AC Milan's injuries at the moment. Zlatan's out, Rebic is out, Sandro Tonali is out, like Theo Hernandez is out, Calhanoglu is out. There's another player, I can't think of his name. It's going to come back to me later on the show. I know when we're on a different topic on the show, it'll come back to me. I'm like, there's the player's name. But like in that regard, they have a lot of injuries. Now, obviously, we have our fair share of injuries too. We have Paul Pogba out, Donny's out. Even if Donny's injured or not, probably sitting on the bench anyway, regardless. Obviously, Cavani out. So, like, look, we have a couple of players out. But when you look at both squads, even if both fully fit or not fully fit, we have a stronger squad than they do. Like, look, Theo Hernandez, I never wish injury on anybody, but he's a very good player, very tough, pacey fullback. For me personally, him going forward, I think Dan James could have given him a nightmare if he was playing anyway. Looking at the way Dan James has been playing as of late, on that right-hand side, I think Dan James could have given him trouble. And we've a comment in here from Angelo as well, here for Amy as well, with regards to Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno.
The sexy Bruno will score tomorrow, Amy. I think that you're after starting a trend here on every channel you're on with regards to Bruno Fernandes. It seems to be catching on. It's after coming to the United show here.
Started on She Devils. They started calling him Sexy Bruno. Now everyone's calling him Sexy Bruno.
I agree with that statement 100%. It's just true, isn't it?
Absolutely. But there it is. Well, John's in the house. Evening, John. John says Hakan Calhanoglu is a doubt from AC Milan as well. So, great player as well. So, like looking at that, like with the injuries they have, and you look at our like both current fully fit squads, United should be confident. And Greg, I'm in absolute agreement in terms of approach. United shouldn't take a conservative approach with this game, because if you look at even with their fully fit squad or not fully fit squad, their backline is very slow. Their backline is quite poor, essentially. With like Alessio Romagnoli, like he gets turned, like a bus, like he turns very slow, like a reversing bus. Like, do you know what I mean? He's like that. And obviously Diogo Dalot's right back or left back. He'd play to run the positions. Probably left back tomorrow with Hernandez being out now. Yeah. Like he's very culpable defensively. Fantastic going forward. It's a threat we'll have to look at obviously tomorrow in terms of his crossing. Because like even at United, he couldn't defend. But one thing Dalot was very good at was his delivery into the box. And so like that's obviously a concern we will have to look at. But overall, when you look at what a fully fit squad, I think United need to approach this game in a confident manner and really go for it, because obviously with all them first team players out for Milan and they might be fit for the second leg, I think United need to kill this game the first leg. Like we did similar to Real Sociedad. Go kill the game the first leg. Take the impetus. And obviously, look, we all know that the second place in the league is a massive priority at the minute now, because, we want to show progress and we want to see where we are as a team, and we need to show that continuously. But obviously, regardless of second league being focus this season, we need to win a trophy this season, whether it's Europa League or whether it's the FA Cup. A trophy is massively important in terms of the progress Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United to create that winning mentality to go on next year so we can challenge for the title. Because overall, like, you can win the FA Cup, you can win the Europa League, you can win the Carabao Cup, Community Shield, whatever. But the bottom, the end goal at the end of the day is the Premier League, and that's where we need to be. That's where we want to be in terms of that. So I think this season is very important that we get either the FA Cup or Europa League or both, and then we go out until we win a trophy then, next season in terms of the Premier League, and obviously make a sustained challenge in the Champions League next season. Because you look at teams like Leipzig and PSG tearing it up in the Champions League at the moment, and you look at our games against them, and we should be through in that Champions League. That one game in Istanbul really screwed us over. So, like, all in all, I think this game, get past AC Milan, and we probably knocked out probably the favourites to win it. And obviously, we still have Spurs and Arsenal left in it, and Roma.
And Rangers, I would say. Rangers are really well set up this year. And that's my one. There's probably not a club in the world football I despise more than Rangers, and I'm not even a Celtic fan. But my one fear is that if we get through and we draw Rangers in the semi-final, in the next round, sorry, and then it's just Gerrard back at the Stretford End putting on a clinic, and I just can't deal with that. So
they're
really well organised. They've got them playing well. Yeah.
They're
going to have to play the big teams.
One thing, Alfredo Morelos would get sent off against United because Harry Maguire would be way more dominant than him in the air, and he'd get pissed off and he'd probably throw an elbow or something. That's the way Morelos is. 100%. But Amy, kind of looking into this game, Joe, on Thursday, you kind of look at the Derby game, and like obviously in-game management was quite fantastic. It was a very professional performance from us on Sunday. Like in terms of that, do you think we should be really confident going into this game, considering how we played on Sunday and how we played in against Real Sociedad in the previous game in Europa League?
Yeah, 100%. Like, we should definitely be taking the confidence from Sunday into this game. Now I know both clubs have injuries in it, but I'm completely in agreement with that we actually do have the better side. Now, to be honest with you, I know he might need to change it up a bit. But I completely agree with Greg in the sense that I think we're going to see more of the old, not the old, but Ollie from previous games in tomorrow's game. But to be honest, I don't see him making many changes, but we should be full of confidence going into this game, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the confidence should be there. Like we're literally after beating the best team in Europe at the moment in Manchester City in terms of that run, like 28 games unbeaten, 21 straight wins. You have to be confident going into this game, but obviously you can be confident, but you can't be complacent. I think that's one very clear thing here. You can be confident, but you can't be complacent. And I think that's something we need to be is confident. But obviously, like you look at players like Marcus Rashford now, Ollie using his presser today, Marcus going to be out. That's going to be a massive miss. So for players like Mason Greenwood now and Dan James tomorrow, and Anthony Martial, who, to be fair, was our man, in my opinion, our man of the match. On Sunday, apart from the goal, like he didn't get a goal. I thought it was a perfect performance as a number 9 for Martial. Like his pressing, his running at players, his overall decision making was very good. Now I know me and Amy disagree sometimes on Martial, but like I in the last couple of weeks I've been someone who has been critical, but on Sunday he played quite well. And for me, he's someone who I think now, if we can get him into a bit of form for the run-in now, considering how he played at this stage last season when Rashford got injured, and then we had that form before the lockdown, and then the form after the lockdown was lifted. Martial, alongside Bruno, was one of our best players, and he scored 25 goals last season. Now, obviously, look, the numbers he has now, he's not going to get anywhere near 25 goals. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, if he can rediscover that form between now and the end of the season, I have absolutely no doubt that we can sustain that second place quite easily, and we can go on and we can make a challenge at this Europa League and FA Cup. Because on his day, Anthony Martial is a quality footballer. He has all the talent in abundance. So for me, I'm just really interested to see how his next couple of games go for him because of his performance on Sunday. And like players like that, like who have all the quality in the world, sometimes they rely on confidence. Do you know what I mean? Like you look at certain players in world football who are ice cold finishers. If their confidence drops, it can really affect their whole demeanor. Like I know Martial, sometimes his demeanor he looks down and depressed sometimes in his demeanor. But when he's confident and when he's on form, Martial is one of the top strikers in the league. So look, by all means, it'd be great to see Martial to come back to his best form. And again, like I think it can benefit us, but also himself, because he has European Championships coming up this summer, and he will need to be on the best form for Didier Deschamps to pick him. Come June. But Bitz N Bobz has joined the house here today.
How you doing, guys?
On the United Show. And so, Bob's going to come to you straight away. Just the same question I said to both Greg and Amy with regards to, obviously, the weekend. Obviously, me on Adam's show Sunday evening after we won the derby. It was a very jubilant affair. Me, you, Adam and Saeed, we had a great crack. It was all great vibes. But kind of reflecting on the derby game now, kind of a couple of days later after kind of I suppose the joy and all that has kind of wore off. What are your overall thoughts on the derby game on the weekend? And can we take confidence from this going into AC Milan tomorrow?
Shout out to Amy. Shout out to Greg. Greg, nice virtually meeting you for the first time. Listen, mate, do you know what? I think I was like every other Man United fan. First of all, wow. Second of all, can we hold on? You know, and I think you know, like we all watch Man United. I think we all knew how the game was going to go. They were going to have possession. We were going to counter, like we try and do against every other club in the Premier League. I think what shocked us all was how well we done it, in the sense that Bruno actually played like a midfielder, like he was a lot deeper.
Yeah.
And did you guys notice as well that Martial had space to drop into?
Yeah.
It was weird, isn't it? It was like our team just said, you do what you're good at, I'll do what I'm good at. And it got clicked. And I'm happy because obviously we got the penalty. Love it when we get a penalty because the rivals just cry. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then the second part of me being so happy about it, right? Luke Shaw scored the goal. Now, like, do you know what I mean? All jokes aside, what story, right? I don't care, right? But Luke Shaw's had a horrible time. We all know the ins and outs, right? For Dean Henderson to throw him the ball, it was like FIFA, literally. Straight run up, give it to someone. And he actually said, Rashford, give it back. And the best thing about that finish, it couldn't go anywhere else. That's the only place he could have scored. So, man, I'm happy. It's brilliant that we won. I'm gutted that they won today. Personally, I was hoping for a bit of a blip from them. Horrible club. Yeah, literally. Like I was just doing a podcast just there. That's why I'm late. So I do apologize, Keane. I was just like, I left the house at 1-1, right? And I was thinking, go to Asda, yes. Come back 5-2. I was like, you horrible, horrible people. Like, what the hell? But no, mate, I'm glad we won it. It gave us bragging rights. It also restored a bit of faith in the team. You know, we had something to shout about. You know what I mean? Everyone went to bed Sunday night happy, woke up Monday morning happy. Yeah? So, yeah.
I'm still happy right now. I've been giving it the biggin all week. Every day on Twitter, I've had something else up with regards to this game. Like, I got a Photoshop done today, right? One of my friends is great at doing Photoshop. Shout out to Jack Clemson. He's on our London show, London Lowdown. Shout out to Jack. He's some man. But I sent Jack a picture of Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, right? Anyone who watches WWE will know these two guys, right? Now, everyone says that I'm Bruno Fernandes' hype man. So I was like, right, do you know what? Let's take this a step further. So Jack photoshopped my head onto Paul Heyman, photoshopped Bruno Fernandes' head onto Brock Lesnar. I remember WrestleMania 30 and Brock Lesnar broke Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. So we went to Etihad and broke their 28-game unbeaten streak and also the 21-game unbeaten run. So Bruno Fernandes' head is on Brock Lesnar, and on his t-shirt it says eat, sleep, break the streak. And then there's Paul Heyman beside me. Like, I'm on Paul Heyman's head beside him. And I post that up on Twitter saying, if you know, you know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was just ultimate bantering, the blue side of Manchester at the moment, because, you know, obviously, look, they're probably going to win the league, and, you know, let's be honest, it's probably going to be a sour day for us on that day. But for this week, we can lap it up, and we can actually have the bragging rights, because Manchester forever and always will be red. No matter how much oil money you spend, Manchester will forever and always be red.
So is
Absolutely.
London.
Oh,
Yeah,
so is London.
London's red.
Oh.
Do you know Man United are the biggest club in London as well at the moment? Like,
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what? Just to touch on that, right? Just I can apologize. Serious, sorry, I'm late. It's funny, isn't it? Like you know, when we see like the Ole Outers and stuff, and I hate to bring it up, but like, how quiet was it on Sunday on social media?
Oh, bless.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Bless.
the
Liverpool
usual
getting beat as well.
Do you know what I mean? And like, it kind of does make you think: does the Ole Outers really want him to lose to get sacked? And it kind of makes you think: are you even a Man United fan? Like
These Ollie outers also don't want Bruno at the club because they want Ollie out.
Yeah. But it's when they're like, oh, let's bring in an attacking manager
right?
like Allegri. It's like Allegri's one of the best defensive managers in world football. We wouldn't play attack. We'd be like Mourinho but Italian. That would be it. Nothing would happen. Like Pochettino would have been the person to get in 2 years ago. He's not now. We stick with what we've got now. But the time before when Mourinho first left.
Let's come to the comments there. Let's come to the comments here with regards to Brock Lesnar there. It says, can Brock Lesnar play centre half? What do you reckon, Bobs?
He might be faster than Harry Maguire. You never know.
He might be.
At least he'd have a bit more presence. Do you know what I mean?
It's actually a freakish athlete. Like, he'd be rapid.
He's a big guy, you know. Shout out, Shane.
Yeah.
Shout out, Shane. No, it was just, as I say, I was just blessed, man. It was just so good. It was just so positive, and it was like, all I was shut up for another week till another game. But yeah, you know, it's because they didn't want to give him praise. That's it.
Yeah.
They say he doesn't have tactics, blah, blah. They don't give him praise. He just beat Man City. Most of the managers in the Premier League have struggled to do that, but always beat Pep 4 times out of 8, 50%.
Yeah.
He's got a better win percentage against Pep than
Mourinho
Mourinho
as well.
Sorry, man.
When you look at that as well, when you look at the away record that Ollie has against Pep, like Pep has never won a game at the Etihad Stadium in the Premier League against Ollie, ever.
Shame we
Do you
can't
know what I
get a trophy for that.
Yeah, that was the conversation we were having on Monday, Keane, about performing when no one expects him to. That tends to be how this Man United team work. Like, we got drawn against Leipzig and PSG in the groups, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, we'll finish third and get back." We did finish third in the end, but everyone was like, "Oh, we'll get battered," and we went out and dominated PSG and Leipzig twice, or once each, and then should have really done it over Leipzig in the second leg. But it seems to be when all he likes to perform is when everyone believes that he's not gonna. So there's a mentality thing in there, that I think would probably be changed if a couple of people come through the door. Then that mentality, a bit more belief would be in that team that they can go that one step further.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Look, and do you know what? The thing about this as well? I think if we get a trophy this season, guys, like whether it's the Europa League or the FA Cup or even both, what that does, like that creates a massive winning mentality within that dressing room and makes us believe we can go that step further. And obviously beating the big teams like the Manchester Cities, the Liverpools, obviously beating PSG and Leipzig in the Champions League. Like we've showed in the last 12 months what we can do. So I think what's very important now is get the trophy and get something to show for it. Do you know what I mean? It's all well and good getting these progress, getting third, getting second. Get that trophy get that trophy in there. Get that kind of, I suppose, stigma that I suppose the semi-finals and we can't get over the final hurdle. Get that trophy. I think that's so important for Ollie. And maybe, I think you'll never turn some of the Ollie outers. I don't think that'll ever happen. They just have their own agenda, and it's just one of them things where, they won't be happy, until on. Like I have a friend who's Ollie out, and I said to him, I said to him there this a couple of months back. I said to the guy, I was like, if Ollie wins the league, would you still want him gone? And he said, yeah, because I don't think he's good enough. But I was like, well, you just have to win the league title. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, some people, like, you just can't change their opinion. But I think as fans, like, look, we all have our own opinion. We all have our own agenda, whatever. But at the end of the day, we're not Ollie fans. We're not Jose fans. We're not Bruno fans. We're Manchester United fans. Whoever's in charge, we should be backing them to the fullest until they're out of the job. And at the end of the day, if you don't do that, then I'd call into question your loyalty to the club if you don't support whoever's in charge. I'd really call that into question, in that regard. But kind of looking at I suppose, more positive news rather than people talking about Ollie in, Ollie out, to shake it all about. In terms of that, today we've got news that we have a director of football and a new technical director today. As Manchester United fans, in the last 7 years, we've literally been screaming for a director of football. We finally have it now. John Murtaugh has come in as director of football. Darren Fletcher, technical director. Manchester United fans seem to be a bit split on it. Some fans are saying they're not happy because it's an internal appointment rather than an external appointment. Other fans are happy because of what John Murtaugh has done with the youth setup in terms of help rejuvenate that, and also what he's done alongside Casey Stoney And with the United's women's team, he's done a fantastic job in terms of help build that in such those short space and time. Amy, I'm going to come to you first with regards to this. Obviously, seeing Darren Fletcher come in, who knows the club, technical director, and looks like he's going to oversee the link between the first team and the youth setup, and he's going to try to identify players for both sides. Kind of how do you feel about Darren Fletcher coming in that regard?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat in a sense where they have gone internally rather than going outside now. I suppose he does know the ins and outs of the club, but he's not experienced. So I'm a bit 50-50 on it, but obviously we're not going to know until we see it. But I would have rathered someone from the outside rather than someone on the inside, to be honest.
And like, just with regards to this, I'm going to pose it to you, Bitz N Bobz, as well. With regards to this, obviously Murtaugh's come in. He's been at the club since January 2014. He's kind of worked his way up through the club in terms of all different roles, in terms of greeting players, the new signings when they come in terms of the changing the model of how our youth setup was. Because let's face it, when Jose Mourinho was at the club, the youth academy was in disarray. Looks like in the last couple of years he's helped rejuvenate that with like discovering like Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, Scott McTominay, and obviously other players such as Hannibal, Charlie McNeil. I can go on as the generational talents we have at the club now. In terms of him doing all of that, as well as help build the women's side of things, when you see the progress made at that level at the club, and he's helped to build all different little things, do you maybe think now this is a good step that we've promoted now with someone who has shown progress in all different aspects of the club? Do you maybe think now this is a step forward, or do you maybe think would have been better to maybe bring in someone like a Paul Mitchell or a refined director of football, from the externally, I suppose?
I think, do you know what? Like, I see it two ways, okay? And I understand both. Like, Amy, I understand what you're saying, because you're thinking, well, Man United, go get the best person that can do the job. 100%. Because that's what most... If you put it to your employer, you hire the best person for the job. However, when you break it down, right? Made up title from made up. Anyway, when you break it down, guys, yeah, like sometimes internal promotions can be seen in two different ways. Okay, can you guys hear that music?
Yeah.
No, you can't hear it at all.
I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay, cool, fine. Yeah. So, like, I think, yeah. The reason they've done it internally is because Ollie knows these people. They trust them. Now, here's a question, right? If Fergie went and got someone, no one would bat an eyelid because they'd be like, it's Fergie, right? So I see it as this. It's internally because he's got people around him that trust him. Are they the most experienced? 100% no. Okay, facts are facts, okay? Going forward, we need to give them a chance. And I think for me, okay, go do this job as brilliant as you can do. If you're Darren Fletcher, well, let's break it down. He won Champions League. He won leagues. He scored important goals. Okay, he won trophies at Man United. So I'd like to think that he'd be able to sit down with a player and say, look, this is what I've done at the club. And, get intimate and be like, you're better than me. Imagine what you could do. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you guys?
Yeah.
And then with the John guy, I don't know him too tough, so I can't really comment. I think any important job at Man United is probably a poisonous chalice, because no matter how good you do, people are always going to want you to do better. It's just the way it is. On the other side, I hear what Amy's saying, because we're behind all the big clubs when it comes to structure. There's a club called Man City who probably has the best structure in world football, and there's a relationship there as well as the structure. So it does make you think Darren Fletcher doesn't really, shake your knees or make you go like, oh, I can't believe that. You're not texting the boys or the girls being like, oh my goodness, Darren Fletcher. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It doesn't give you that X factor, wow ability. However, on that same thought, you're going to be like, well, what has he done? What can he do? Blah, blah, blah. But then I asked someone this question. Well, if it was Rio Ferdinand, you'd be happy, right? Yeah, of course.
Did you be delighted?
He won the same trophies as Darren Fletcher. Well, is it because Rio is out there doing the podcast? He's the likability. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? Like, we have a character fascination of Rio. So we think, oh, he'll be brilliant. We don't know what Darren does behind the scenes, you know? So I hear both arguments. And what I'm going to say on it to conclude them for me is that let's see what they can do, you know? We've got the structure. It might not be what we wanted, but, you know, we'll take it and see what they can do, man. I just hope for their sake they don't make no stupid signings. Like, thunder should not strike twice at our club, ever. That's what I'll say on that, Keane.
No, I have heard.
Sorry, Amy,
I have heard that Matt Judge is still going to be doing the negotiations.
Yes, obviously what happens there is Murtaugh and Fletcher identify the players, but ends up to Judge to negotiate the transfer fee and wages and personal terms and stuff like that. So, like, when you break it down in that respect, you can identify all the players in the world, you can get all right behind the scenes, but then when you have a clown doing the negotiating, like, you know, it's going to be pretty much impossible. But I think the way my view on this,
of the balls, no, would you not? You'd like to think that Fletcher would say to them, "No, don't get that player. We shouldn't be."
You'd like to think so.
Yeah, because the technical director. I mean, we saw the spiel what he's there for. Because I mean, Greg, if you were the money guy, the business guy, right?
Yeah.
And I was the player, the guy was like, "Yeah, I'll be the technical director." If you said to me, "Oh, we can get Amy for 50 million," and I'm like, "Well, have you seen Amy play?" I think Amy's probably more worth 45 million. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say, Amy? I'm just saying because I'm looking at you now. But do you get what I'm trying to say? And then you've got Keane here flipping Matt Judge like, "Oh, no, we'll just do it." But like, I'd like to think, but no, actually, guys, you know, let's be sensible here. Because we need to admit, right? No matter what player Man United go for, they put on the Man United tax. You know, there's always an extra 10, 15 million. And let's be honest, some of the players we have signed, we've been shagged. Maguire's not 85 million. Wan-Bissaka's not 50 million. Come on. So good luck to them, man. You know, if they if they bring Haaland or Sancho, hey.
Yeah, they win. I think what needs to be remembered with these appointments is, we were one of the few clubs that didn't get any sort of bad publicity when this whole pandemic started for sacking off staff and things like that. So maybe in terms of keeping someone on and not bringing in another person that's not used to the club and always not worked with or anything like that, that needs to be kept in mind as well. And I get what you're saying, like if Sir Alex had brought someone in, but I refuse to believe there's not an internal decision made in Man United for the time that man is alive that doesn't go through Sir Alex Ferguson. Anyone that's coming in to work under that club or in a new role or anything like that is going to be passed through that. It's going to be okayed by Sir Alex. He is our club. He's the reason we are so far behind. We're paying for it now because he was so good at what he did. And because he was so good, that's why we're so far behind. So I would be stunned if this decision wasn't made, obviously between Woodward and obviously Matt Judge is going to be involved as well. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was Sir Alex Ferguson that also made the decision to bring this in. And I understand what people are saying about obviously Murtaugh being a yes man, but it's a lot easier to be a yes man when you're only dealing with one person. And when Ed Woodward was the be all and end all, it's very easy to be a yes man. But when you're getting 2 or 3 different opinions, you're getting one from Ollie, you're getting one from Fletcher, who seems to have a tactical nous about him. Listen to anyone speak about him, they speak very highly of his tactical prowess and everything like that he knows about the game and knows about the club, obviously. So I think when you've got 2 or 3 different opinions in, then you can't just say yes to them all. Eventually you're going to have to choose, and that's when you've got to use your own judgment. So I think it's also important that people don't expect 10 outgoings and 6 ingoings in the next year. That's not what's going to happen. That's not why these people have been put in place. These people have been put in place to make sure Man United is a consistent threat over the next decade, because 3 years ago we weren't anywhere near that. And it's going to be a slow rebuild, and everyone knew that it was going to be a teething process. It's probably been longer than we thought it was. This appointment should have come many years ago, and if it had, we'd probably be, so let's say a year after Sir Alex left, we brought in these technical directors. It would still probably be this season would be where we're closest to winning the league, because it's a process of bringing players through. Obviously, what Fletcher's done with the academy, but it's identifying the right players and players that Ollie wants to work with and players Ollie gets on with. The one that if Haaland goes to City, the one that will kick Ollie most and Matt Judge most is meeting that release clause and then not dealing with the agent properly. That'll come back and bite him. That'll be the one that they missed out on that one, but they'll learn from it. And there's going to be players. Obviously, Haaland's once in a generation talent, but we're still Man United. We're still going to attract the best players, and yeah, there's going to be Man United tax. But I think if you've got the right person dealing with money, and I think Man United showed a lot of things we didn't see last summer as well in the transfer window. Like, we didn't take Sergio Reguilon because they wanted a buyback clause. David Moyes is Man United and Louis van Gaal's Man United. They get that player, and that player is brilliant for 2 years, and then we lose him. A lot of decisions have been made with the future of the club in mind, not the here and now. And I think that's what a lot of people need to remember going forward.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And absolutely, like, in terms of my take on it, like, I've been on literally 2 different shows before this, and I've had the same kind of talk with regards to the situation. Like, I think we need to be patient with it, because obviously people can talk about whether it's internal or external appointments. That's neither here or there. I think what we need to really look at and take a view with is that let's give these new people, Fletcher and Murtaugh, 12 to 18 months in that role. Let them oversee at least 2 to 3 transfer windows, and we can actually, like, look at the progress then. Because then we'd really see whether progress is made or not. If not, then we can obviously, the jury will be out on them then after about 12 to 18 months to see, is progress being made? Is it just the same old status quo that's been there for the last 7 years? I think we have to be mindful about that. I think given 12 to 18 months in the role, and I think you look at it and you say, is progress being made? And we can look at certain areas being addressed, and we can see then, not even so much from the first team, but looking at the progress, the academy, and then looking at the progress between the gap between the academy and the first team, is that improving? Because that's what they've been brought in for as well. It's not just all about the first team and transfers, but you have to look at also the other aspects of it: academy development, youth players coming through. Like, that's their job as well. So I think when you look at it from an overall perspective, you have to say, give it 12 to 18 months. Let's see where the progress is before we can fully judge it then. I think if we give it 6, like, what month are we in now? March, and we look at the end of August, that still isn't enough time. That still isn't enough time to say whether it's working or not. I think you do have to give it 12 to 18 months and see where we are then after about 2 to 3 transfer windows with regards to them appointments. Another bit of news, guys, that's actually come out in the last kind of 24 hours, and I don't even want to address it because I think it's absolute BS. I'm not going to swear, but it's absolute BS. I'm going to do the exact celebration as what the man done on Sunday. Bruno Fernandes. So the Daily Mail, whether how reliable they are or not, or the Daily Fail as I like to call them, and the Sun have quoted this, that Bruno Fernandes is refusing to sign a contract because he wants to see new players and ambition from the board. Now, obviously, we've had this situation with Paul Pogba and Wayne Rooney handing supposed transfer requests and wanting to leave. Greg, come to you firstly on this situation. Do you buy this situation that Bruno is refusing to sign a new contract?
Not at all that he's refusing to sign a new contract. He quite clearly loves the club, and he strikes me as sort of captain material, and I think he probably will take over as captain at some point, whether that's forced on Maguire or not, whether he sort of gives it up and accepts it. I'm not sure, but I think there could be something in the fact that Bruno wants to play with other world-class players. You see it in every club all over the world, like the top players, like on a completely different scale. You look at Messi at Barcelona. There's not a player in the last decade that's come into Barcelona that Messi's not gone, yeah, okay, I want that player. Top players get a say in which other top players they play with. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if him and Solskjaer are in conversation about players, or if Solskjaer's gone, we're interested in this player, what do you think of him? Like, we're linked with that Goncalves that plays for Sporting. That doesn't happen just out of pure luck. That happens because there's a connection there, because they've come from the same club, if they've played at any point at the same time and everything like that. It's the same with the Rafinha link that's come out in the last 24 hours, the lad from Leeds. They played together at Sporting. The reason these players are being linked is I completely believe there's conversations had that Bruno wants to play with other players, but that doesn't mean he's going to not re-sign a contract. That's him just showing ambition, and I want a player to be showing ambition. I'd hate it if he just went, yeah, I'm quite happy finishing Champions League every year. I'm quite happy playing with Victor Lindelof and Fred. Like, no, I want him to be wanting these top players, because the more noise that's coming out internally makes the hands above him move, and it makes these new players come in because there's a drive for it and a want for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like, it worried me if a top player, like, who was one of our best players at the club, didn't have ambition. Like, you look at the last 7 years, guys, the amount of players who've come to the club who've been mercenaries and haven't come for the ambition of the club. They've come for that. They've come for the wage. Do you know what I mean? So when you look at it in that perspective, I don't think people are trying to say it's money grab. It absolutely isn't. He's saying that he wants to win and wants to win trophies. He's a top player. He has an elite mentality. We see it on the pitch. So for people to say that it's all nonsense, it absolutely isn't. I'm in absolute agreement with Greg. Do you know, any top player who has ambition wants to win trophies, and they want to be playing with the best players at the best club in the world. Because, truth be told, Manchester United are the biggest club in the world. We should be attracting the biggest players and the best players in the world. We obviously know why that doesn't happen. Ed Woodward, Matt Judge, we know that. But all things considered, you want that mentality at the club. Wayne Rooney done it in 2010. Right after the World Cup, he came back. He played against Germany in the World Cup. Germany beat England 4-1. For our English supporters on the channel, they'll probably hate that moment now. I've just brought that up. But important fact here, Wayne Rooney played against Mesut Ozil in that game. Ozil ran the show against England in that 4-1 win. Wayne Rooney comes back to United. We're just after coming second in the league the season before. United were challenging for the title again. Wayne Rooney goes to Sir Alex and David Gill. Get us Mesut Ozil. He'll bring us to that next level, though at that point in time. And, people are saying, the club said no. Wayne Rooney handed in transfer requests because there was a lack of ambition at the club to sign players. Like, we never replaced Ronaldo in that couple of years he left. Wayne Rooney wanted us to bring in Ozil to help supply him to get more goals, which is absolutely fair enough, considering Rooney the season before scored 34 in all competitions and had one of the best seasons of his career. So I would question the mentality of any player who doesn't want to progress and doesn't want to be playing around better players. So if Bruno was saying that to Ollie and Ed Woodward and whoever else, I'm happy about that, because then that means we have a player in elite mentality who is not accepting finishing second and winning an FA Cup. They want more. They want the Premier League, the Champions League. I'd be quite cheesed off if no one had that mentality at the club. But Amy, I know yourself, you along with myself, we're probably Bruno's biggest hype people on social media and everywhere else around the world. How are you feeling when you heard this Bruno Fernandes news?
Obviously utter BS, but I'm in complete agreement with Greg. But looking at a player's point of view as well, if they're at a club for 3 or 4 years and they're not getting any silverware, obviously from a player's point of view, they want to win silverware and they want to be at a successful club. So if 3 or 4 years down the line and United still aren't going nowhere, it wouldn't surprise me if he wants to move along and go to a club that could potentially win silverware, unless you want to be the likes of Harry Kane and just stay at Spurs forever and win nothing. But I can see it from both sides. But obviously, like, we see Bruno Fernandes and he has so much ambition, and obviously he wants the best out of this club. So I completely agree that it wouldn't surprise me if he was having chats with Ollie and say, oh, we need this player to try and succeed. So yeah, it's great to see that from Bruno.
And Bob's, what's your thoughts about the situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's a full house for me, to be honest, because I love Pogba, right? Pogba is one of my favorite players in general. Okay, great player. We know the ins and outs of him, right? What the facts are that Pogba was lured to this club to say that we're going to get you these players to come and play with you, right? It didn't happen. Now, I said this, I got ridiculed, and I said that if Pogba ever leaves this club, the same thing what people do to Pogba, they're going to do to Bruno. But what they don't see is that Pogba's been drowning because of the quality. And when I say that, I'll elaborate. Pogba left Juventus playing with Pirlo and Marquisio to come and play out of position at Man United with Pereira and Lingard. That is a massive drop in quality, massive contrast. Now, Bruno has been here for over a year, and he's saying, look, if we can add a couple more players, I will sign and commit. But it's like a marriage here. It's a compromise. You need to show me you want the same thing. You know, we don't want to be Arsenal. We don't want to be Tottenham. That's not us. Like we've said, and we'll probably say in the future, we are Manchester United. Now, what Bruno's saying to them, are you Manchester United by history or are you Manchester United by brand? Because financially, we know if we keep qualifying for top 4, we tick a box. Okay? But these players are not playing you don't get a trophy for top 4. You want to win leagues. You want to win titles. And you've got to think about yourself. Bruno's Portuguese. Who did he said he spoke to? He spoke to Ronaldo. What did Ronaldo do at Man United? Won trophies. You know, as a foreigner, players they don't come to these clubs to be furniture. They want to win. Do you know what I mean? One of the things we love about Bruno, he wants to win mentality. So if the board and the club aren't backing him, who is he to stay? And I mean, you've got to respect that. You've got to respect that. Because at the end of the day, on the other hand, if he was playing rubbish and then he got a new contract and still played rubbish, we'd be saying, why are we keeping him? But we've got someone who wants to stay at the club, who wants to win. What he's saying, I mean, the old saying goes, you can only use the tools you've got, right? Get him players. Get him some new tools for this club to help him win. Because look right now, look who we've got. Rashford on the left, Martial up top. There's no other names. Pogba, obviously. Who else is he playing with, quality-wise? You know, and we're sitting second, guys. Yeah. This is the most extraordinary thing. So can you imagine if we added 2 or 3 quality players?
Imagine you add in Haaland. Like, imagine you add in Haaland. Imagine you add in Jadon Sancho. Just to name 2, right? Just to name 2. You win the league. You add in the 2 of them, you win that league. 100%. And they're 2 players.
To have McFred. Imagine, guys, if we played McFred, right? I know everyone's on 2 different sides, but imagine if you had McFred and just said, right, guys, do you know what? Today, just block, screen, run around, tackle, give the ball to Bruno Pogba, right? And Bruno's feeding Jadon Sancho, Haaland, Rashford. Are you kidding me? Like, 2 players change the whole complex of your team.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that's what he's doing. Listen, at the end of the day, though, just like you all, I hope he doesn't leave, though.
He won't. He won't. I've got faith. He won't.
Just coming back on that Pogba situation, actually, we've seen a difference in Pogba since Bruno came in. And I think it's made a massive difference to Pogba that he doesn't have all that weight on his shoulders. I don't think Pogba likes all that responsibility. So I think getting in a few new players would benefit Pogba so much more.
Especially if he's getting played out of position, Amy. He's been played. Let's be honest. His whole Man United career, he's been played out of position. You know, there was that season where Mourinho played them in the 10. Sorry, Keane, carry on. Sorry.
Like when you see as you just about to say there, when he's played more advanced, Pogba, you see when Ollie first came in, he played Matic and Herrera, and he said to Pogba, "You can have that free role." He scored 15 goals that season. Paul Pogba did. You've seen. Even under Jose Mourinho, there was stages when he did play kind of as a sitting midfield player. Like that's not his role. He can ping the ball from deep, but that's not his role. Like if United get a defensive midfield player in there, just a specialist defensive midfield player in there, like a Declan Rice or an Ndidi or someone like that, and you have Pogba and Bruno freed up in midfield. There you go. You have 2 possibly on form, probably the 2 best midfield players in world football. Like on form, like. I think United just need to supply these players with quality around them, and you'll win the title. Like there's do the board, do our ambitions match the board's? No, they're just happy with Champions League football, and that's it. And that's a shame because there's a lot of quality players at the club, not even just in the first team now, but even at the youth level. Like if you imagine you could bleed some of them youths into a quality team, we'd be laughing. We really would be.
Yeah, I think Garner will play a big part in our season next year. Massive. I think he's been brilliant. Obviously been out on loan, and a season in the Championship's not going to do him any harm at all. He's going to come back bigger, he's going to come back stronger, he's going to come back tougher. I think he'll make a big difference. And if Man United don't buy a holding midfielder and they sort of prioritise a centre half and a right winger in the summer, it'll be because they're going to rely on Garner, who I think has been brilliant. So yeah, they've got to do that. But I think with obviously not having the same ambition as the board, obviously the board are happy with top four. Winning things loosens those purse strings a little bit, which is why Ollie's so desperate to win something. It's more than just, I need to show I can win something to prove because Ollie knows how good he is as a manager. The players work with him day in, day out. They'll have their own opinions already set. It's not going to take 2 years for people in that club and players playing under Ollie to form an opinion of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager. You're going to know in the first few weeks what he's all about and whether he's got what it takes. And people know that all around the club. And people on the outside looking in don't know that because they're not in it. And what loosens the purse strings is winning these things. So if Ollie can prove that I've got a win inside here and I'm only a couple of things away, that's why finishing second is so important, and trying getting as close to City as possible is so important, not letting this drop off. Winning a trophy like the Europa League, proving that we can go that one step further. And it makes the board sit back and go, right, well, okay, because you're repaying us here. Because if Man United finish, let's say if we were a freak accident and we were to drop out of the top four and we were to get eliminated over 2 legs by AC Milan and then get hammered in the FA Cup, they just said, well, why? Why should we back you? Because what you're going to do, you're going to finish third next year and get to the semi-final and then get to the quarter-final. It's just not, that's why he's so desperate to win things. He can say all he wants about winning things is good for the group, and of course it is, but it's all about, it's all a domino effect. We win things, more pressure on the board to improve the team. And on another note, that's why Liverpool are doing so badly this year, because they didn't do that. They won things and then didn't improve. And it happens all the time. If you don't improve a squad that's won things, you won't win things again. So
Cookie Crumble FC. I said it from the very beginning of the season. I called them Cookie Crumble FC. Everyone was just like, you're mocking it. I said it at the beginning of the season, and I've said it, Cookie Crumble FC. I've got the receipts. All these Liverpool fans, I uploaded it. I got blocked. I don't care. The people came on my channel, and the streams are saying Liverpool are going to dominate. They're going to create a dynasty. I'm looking at them like, really? Okay.
7-2.
Cookie Crumble FC, and they keep crumbling. And do you know what the most beautiful thing is? They're not even going to win the Champions League, right? They're going to finish outside of the top four, okay? Then they have to ask themselves a question. Because they're going to sell players. They're going to sell players. They've got to sell players. Listen, what happens when you apply pressure to a cookie, guys? It crumbles. Period. That's it. And it's beautiful to watch.
Conference League incoming.
Oh, stop. Oh, stop. Think about this now. I have a few scousers that follow me and they do watch this channel. I'll be getting piles of abuse later on, and this is all I'll be doing. Getting the sea salt, and I'll just be all like that. How would you like that? Absolutely. But looking ahead, obviously, look, I could banter Liverpool for 24 hours a day. I really could on live stream. I could do it 100%. Yeah, I'm going to do it one day on the United show where it's just going to be Liverpool, what just happened. Just when the season ends, don't worry. That stream is coming, right? That's going to be live.
Goes to the Germany job, Salah sold, FSG walkout, be brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be great. I'd be here with my beers, sipping away live, just enjoying life. But obviously looking ahead to tomorrow's big game, big AC Milan. It's a Champions League worthy game. Obviously, it's in the Europa League. Kind of looking to predicted 11s for the game, because obviously both teams have a couple of injuries. Not going to look at the predicting AC Milan 11 because, truth be told, I only know so much about them. I don't know everything about them to predict 11 for them. So I'm going to predict 11 for Manchester United here today. And I'm going to come to both Greg, Amy, and Bitz N Bobz with their 11s and what they'd like to see as well. So I'm going to go start with my goalkeeper. By the process of elimination, obviously Dean Henderson starts, even though Truth be told, he's my number one. I said this on Adam's show on Sunday. Dean Henderson's my guy. He's number one. His overall presence in goal just makes a massive difference to the centre-backs. And one thing I just like to point out about Dean Henderson, that throw to Luke Shaw was very reminiscent of Peter Schmeichel in the way Schmeichel used to.
Yep.
It was Schmeichel-esque. It was very reminiscent. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing. I'm not going to make a comparison. Don't take this out of context, people in the comments and people watching. Do not take this out of context. I'm not saying he's like Peter Schmeichel. I'm saying the throw was Schmeichel-esque. Please do not take me out of context and clip that up. Right back, Armand Bissaka. For me, again, you have to go strong. I know AC Milan have a few injuries. I know we have a big game against West Ham on the weekend, but Armand Bissaka has to start for me because you still need to play a strong team. Victor Lindelof will get a rest for me this week because obviously the man is struggling with a back injury. You can't risk playing him 3 times a week. So I'm going to go Eric Bailly and I'm going to go Harry Maguire at centre-back. Now, I know Luke Shaw is usually the left-back. Alex Telles is usually the left-back in the Europa League. But on this occasion, if Luke Shaw starts at left-back for me, simply because I want to put this game to bed before we go to San Siro. I want to put this game to bed early. Obviously, get the likes of Pogba and that back if possible then as well. To play in the second leg. Well, and I know AC Milan, they have a depleted team too. So for me, you have to go strong here. In the 2 midfield areas, Fred gets dropped for me. I'm going to start Nemanja Matic and Scott McTominay. I think AC Milan are going to sit back behind the ball and they're going to try to hit us on the counter. And for me, you need people to break them lines. I think Nemanja Matic does that. And what Nemanja Matic also does is he sits between the 2 centre halves and he'll provide Scott McTominay the time and the space to break forward and make them runs into the box and give AC Milan something else to think about. Because truth be told, Fred doesn't do that for us. And you see when against who was it? It was West Ham in the FA Cup. Matic playing gave Scott McTominay, that license to go forward, and we've seen how good he is when he gets into the box. So definitely want to see Matic and McTominay in there. If Donny was fit, I'd have him start this game and give Bruno a rest, but Donny's not fit, and I know Shola Shoretire is a great number 10 for the 23s, fantastic player, but you're not going to play him in this game. So you go Bruno Fernandes number 10. I'm going to go Greenwood off the right, Martial up top for his pace, and I'm going to go Mr. Dan James on the left. I know I was nearly pushing giving Diallo a start in this game, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't be brave enough. You know what I mean? It's a big game against AC Milan. It's probably too early to give him a start. If it was any other team in Europa League, I would have said, yeah, give Diallo a start. But AC Milan is an experienced side and they're on good form despite injuries. So, yeah, I'd go Dan James on the left. But Greg, do you have anything different to me in terms of what you'd go? Do you maybe think Fred gets in there or Telles or?
Yeah. So I think Telles probably will start just because I think I don't think Ollie likes to stray away from plans very often, regardless of previous results. Ollie tends to stick with his plans. He doesn't tend to be a very off-the-cuff manager. He obviously gets abuse for that with these in-game changes being a bit slow and things like that. So he likes to stick with a plan. So I reckon if Ollie's had a plan when this draw was made of the team that's going to be fit, that's the team that's going to be playing. I don't think it will vary much from the team that played that in Sociedad. So yeah, I can't see many changes. I think Telles will play. I think Fred will play over Matic just because the way that AC Milan play now, even though they're an Italian side, they don't keep the ball very well. So they've got a midfield 2 sort of normally of Benacer and Kessié, and then normally Çalhanoğlu's in front of them, but Çalhanoğlu obviously won't be playing, but they do struggle to keep the ball very at all for an Italian side, and that's maybe where I think Fred's energy might be key. I don't think Matic. I think Matic might be past it really at this sort of level. I think he slows the game down too much, and if you're going to kill a game, you need someone that's okay, maybe a bit out there with Fred, but he'll run and he'll run for 90 minutes. He'll work hard, and we've seen on a couple of occasions if he nicks the ball and gets it to the right player, he really quickly starts a counter attack. Whereas I think if Matic wins the ball back, he's very quick to pass it either to a full back or a centre back, and it goes the wrong way. But yeah, just with the way AC Milan played, they don't keep the ball greatly well. So those were the only 2 changes I would make, probably Telles and Fred instead of Matic and Shaw.
Bitz N Bobz, do you have anything different to what me and Greg have there?
Yeah, so you said something that we need to win it. right? And AC Milan are going to sit back. So here's this one. The Telles thing, I think Telles will play. Let Shaw breathe and stuff. I think, I just have a feeling that Matic will play on his own, right? And because we know AC Milan are going to sit there, I think Matic plays on his own, and I think Van de Beek starts.
Do you maybe think he might be fit?
Yeah. I think he might push it. No, actually, I beg your pardon. He's struggling, isn't he? Yes, so I take that back. No. Wow, that changes my complex. Yeah, so Matic. Yeah, I'm with you, Keane. Yeah, because I was thinking
Max Sauce. Max Sauce has to get in there. Max Sauce.
Yeah, well, do you know what? He's not really been Max Sauce recently. We've got to be honest with that. But
Messi.
McMuffin, more like.
So good.
Leave it out.
Yeah, I'd like to see Matic play on his own, and if we played the Mata, because Mata's good at keeping the ball. Mata's good at keeping the ball, keeping possession, and cutting through the lines. I know it's a random one, but if AC Milan are going to sit back, we need a
lot of intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the only thing I'll try. You probably won't do it, but yeah, that's the only thing I'd change. But we have to win. We have to win.
Yeah. Hashtag, and just for our fans there, hashtag where's one?
I think he's still injured.
Is he?
Yeah, I'd like to see him play because, as you said, you need intelligence in there, and he's someone who could help break them lines. He's a fantastic footballer.
Injured? Sorry, I missed that.
Mata.
Is he actually injured as well? Oh my god, I'm having a nightmare. Bloody, thank God I'm not picking the team, Okay, well, do you know what, Keane? I'll go with the same team then, because quality available. Yeah, the team picks itself, doesn't it? Then, Do you know what?
It's like what Fergie used to say. Remember Fergie said about Zinedine Zidane? He said, "Give me 10 planks of wood and Zinedine Zidane, and I'll win you everything." Do you know what I mean? But the only thing about it is, give me 10 planks of wood and Bruno Fernandes, and we get all the penalties in the world. Do you know what I mean? You just need. I'd love 11 Brunos on the pitch, so we get 11 penalties a game, 11 goals, and it would just be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it? Just to have 11 Brunos on the pitch. Because imagine the amount of shithousery you'd have with 11 Bruno Fernandes out there. Do you know what I mean? It's just absolutely beautiful, and I just love all the salt and all of the moaning on social media coming from all you guys. Especially, do you know what I'm going to call these guys out? Especially the Spurs fans, right? Because that Bruno deal broke down last summer, and you got Giovanni Lo Celso, who has 3 goals for Spurs in the last 18 months or whatever. And now Bruno Fernandes, the player you missed out on, and he's on the road to get Golden Boot and beating Harry Kane to the Golden Boot as well at that. So, yeah, life must be tough, especially the fact that they made as well. Do you know what I mean? Life must be tough for you guys. I really do sympathize with you guys. Then again, do I really? Nah. Do you know what I mean? I really don't. Amy, do you have anything different to us? Do you maybe have Ahmad coming in, or maybe Brandon Williams at right back?
No, I've more so along the same lines, but I'd have Telles instead of Shaw. I think Shaw needs a bit of a breather, and we do have West Ham on Sunday. In terms of Scott McTominay, I think he's more box to box, and to be honest, you'd rather the ball fall outside the box in front of McTominay than you would Fred, because I'd say 7 or 8 times out of 10, Scott McTominay's shot would probably end up at the back of the net, so he'd be beneficial there.
Yeah, I think we've all kind of. I think when you look at processing.
There's going to be one day where Fred catches a volley from outside the box 30 yards. It's just going to scream at the top of the net. There's one day. It's got to happen. I watched him score against Bruges last year, and I couldn't believe it. So it's got to happen.
Do you know what? Right, I said to a few work colleagues, right, and they were saying why does Fred keep shooting? And I was like, I don't know. If you're not good at cooking, or if you're not good at baking cakes, or flipping, I don't know, something that has craft, why do you keep doing it? And what annoys me the most, right? He does it with his right foot. You're not right.
What is going on?
I'm looking at you like, I know I said something very controversial, right? And I do apologize if I did offend anyone. I said that if Fred shouldn't, if he had shot Biggie and Tupac, I said they'd both still be alive because he would never hit the target, right? Like really, and like I do apologize if I offend anyone. I'm not here to offend anyone, but like that's how woeful he is, and like God bless him. Because he probably in training, he probably hits the
I
target.
bet he screams them in. I bet he does. I bet he
Do you know what
catches
I mean?
them so
He
sweet in
must.
training.
And then, like,
Did you
because
hear?
for him to have
Did
that
you hear what
confidence-
Rashford and Bruno said? Like they say, Rashford and Bruno stay back after training to take free kicks, and they said Fred stays back to take shots.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Do you know, like, and the thing is, yeah, right, look, not everyone's 24 hours is the same as the next person. I get that. But my friend, all you have to do is go to training and work on your craft. Are you telling me you can't get some youth goalkeeper in and get a bag of balls and then from 20 yards, 25 yards, practice? Why does he always go on his right foot? Someone please tell me that. Right, his right foot's for standing on, literally. Like,
I
when he
find it
does
so
with his right
strange.
foot, there's no power on it.
I find it so strange how they talk about Fred. Like you saw Ollie after he hit a shot was like smiling and put his thumbs up, and then like Neville in the middle of the game on Sunday was like, and Fred's attempting nutmegs. It's like this guy's still a footballer. Like they talk as if he's like a charity case. It's like we bought him for a lot of money. It's so weird, like the stigma around him. It's like you're bad at like attacking, but you still get into the team week in, week out. It's weird. It's so strange.
To give context, though, I said this, Keane, I think I said this to you on Sunday. He is good at being tenacious, winning the ball back. But unfortunately, in possession, he's not the best. And that's why I said about the whole Ndidi thing. Because I was thinking, well, Ndidi basically is better than him doing that, but that's it. You know? And if we're saying we're Man United, do we not go get a better player than Ndidi? I dare say Declan Rice, a little spanner there.
Yeah, I've said it on the show the last couple of weeks, right? Even though his whole England-Ireland situation and how he picked England over us and all that crack, I put that to bed. Yeah,
Traitor.
Look, I'm willing to swallow my pride because Ireland are useless anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? Our national team is crap. Like, do you know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. So, like, I don't blame him in that regard. Like, at least England have a chance to win the Euros this year.
No, they don't. They've got Scotland in the group.
Oh, I already said I'm getting my Scotland jersey with Scott McTominay on the back of it, lads. Max Sauce number 39.
He'll be fine.
Good guy.
Hat-trick from right centre half. He'll be fine.
But look. With regards to Declan Rice, I put my differences aside, and I'd say, like, look, I'd absolutely take him. Look how good he's playing at West Ham at the moment, and look, I think when you look at these new technical directors and director of footballs and all that, you get in there, you offer Jesse Lingard, you offer £50 million, and there you go. There's Declan Rice. That's a sensible deal.
Yeah, that
not
is.
50 million. Not 50 million. Listen,
50 million.
But
the 50 million is what they cost.
United tax.
Yeah.
The West Ham are looking for 80 million quid for him.
Yeah.
So you don't pay the 80 million.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I see
what I mean. That's what West Ham are looking for. It's upwards of 80 million. So that's why you offer 50.
It's an investment. Yeah.
Lingard on loan.
Hands up. I agree with you both. It's scary though, isn't it? It's scary.
It is.
That's what we're negotiating to get.
Yeah, that's what Ronaldo went for. That's what Ronaldo went for from United.
Ronaldo went for 80 million, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Same we pay for Harry Maguire.
85. Oh, it makes me so sick. Like literally. Like,
I wouldn't go for Ndidi on that principle. I wouldn't go back to Leicester.
This is why. Do you know what? This is what I had an argument with someone on Twitter DMs. Right, I won't name him. Right, and he was like, Ndidi's one of the best DMs, but and I was like, yeah. So what? But like Real Madrid, Barcelona don't go for Ndidi to play DMC. So why should we? You know, if we want to be this team that keeps possession, Ndidi's rubbish on the ball. If we're honest, right? You know, he's just a more updated Fred. Forgive me, people might say that, and I rate Ndidi so much. But you see what Ndidi does. Ndidi tackles and he gives the ball. Do you know what I mean?
He passes it to Madison.
We don't play that system.
Someone that can play. Yeah.
Look, Kante made a career out of that. He won 2 league titles in a World Cup.
But not everyone's Kante. You're not going to get an N'Golo Kante everywhere.
Exactly. That's my point. That's my point. So, yeah.
For me, you just get Declan Rice in there. Get them vibes in there. Get them vibes in midfield, and do you know what I mean? Get Pogba, Bruno, pushed up the pitch, and 21 is coming. Do you know what I mean? Let's just pin all our hopes on that. But kind of looking at tomorrow's game, my favorite part of the show, score predictions. Amy's not in the comments to hijack me, so she doesn't know what my prediction is. And I'm not hijacking Amy's comments on her show either on Three Devils and a Gooner. So looks like we can hijack each other today. However, I think Shane Dowdy might be in the comments, so he may take both of her predictions away, the little fucker. But Greg, gotta come to you first. What's your score prediction for tomorrow?
I think 3-0 to Man United. I think I was so impressed with how we defended against City, because that's a tough thing to do, to be attacked like that by that team for that length of time, especially for that 25 minutes in the first half, which I didn't think were ever going to end. It's a tough thing to do, and the defenders are going to have a lot of bounce about them. Obviously, they're going to be tired, but I think knowing that they've kept a clean sheet against obviously the best side in Europe, that'll give them a real bounce. And obviously, AC Milan missing Zlatan and Mandzukic. They're missing a lot of bite up front, so I reckon 3-0.
3-0. Amy?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0. Bruno brace.
Shit! That was my prediction. That was my... Oh, man. Bitz N Bobz.
Great minds think alike.
I think it's going to be 3 different goal scorers tomorrow. I think we're winning 3-0. I think Bruno, Rashford,
Fred.
and I think
Fred.
No.
It's going to be Fred.
I might bet that on Sky Bet, actually.
Yeah, it'll be worth it.
I think we're going to get a set piece goal from one of the defenders. I think it's been coming. It's coming.
Scott McTominay header. You heard it here first.
Oh, Maguire's got like a 50 pence head that just hits a corner and flies into the other stand. He actually does. Just hit it to McTominay. McTominay's taller, stronger, and better in the air. I don't know why we hit corners to Maguire. We've got McTominay in there. He's a better header of the ball. And has his weight around
this season if they weren't disallowed, to be fair, by fucking the Prats and VAR. Do you know what I mean? Maguire would actually have.
He won one header for England, and suddenly he was a brilliant header of the ball in the box. He scored 3. He scored 4 headed goals in the last 2.5 years. One of them's for England. He's nearly scored the same amount of goals outside the box for Man United than he has in the box with a header.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a myth, isn't it? Everyone thought because he wins headers, he was so.
Because he's
so
a big
good in
head.
the air, apparently. We all assumed he was going to get 10 goals or something.
It's the Flaney
really
thing. He's tall, so he'll win headers. Well, no, he's got to have footballing ability about him to win the header. He's got to be able to move.
Such a British logic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tall, he'll hit it. Okay.
Hey, don't worry. It's the same over here in Ireland. Trust me. It's the same here in Ireland. That logic is applied over here too when you're playing ball over here as well. Trust me in that. In terms of my score prediction, Amy stole my thunder with 2-0 Bruno brace. So I'm going to go outside of that. I'm going to go 2-0 United. I'm going to go Bruno to score a penalty tomorrow. And I'm going to go with... Fuck it, I'm feeling adventurous. I'm going to go with Fred to score tomorrow.
Yeah. The actual wins. If he scores, I reckon all he takes his top off and runs down the line. If Fred was to score a goal, I reckon always away. Right down the touchline, down the tunnel.
If Fred scores tomorrow, right? If Fred scores tomorrow, right? You see that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar picture that I have for me and Bruno, right?
You and Fred.
You're getting a picture of Evolution tomorrow. Then, right? You're gonna get a picture of me, Bruno Fernandez, Fred, and Ollie, and the video lying in the sand with Evolution walking out. You'll have that out. I'm just saying that now. If that happens, obviously I predicted Bruno and Fred to score, right? WWE Evolution entrance video with our heads on it. It'll happen. I'm telling you now, that'll happen if Fred scores. But I'll go 2-0 and hopefully we keep a clean sheet, because the last thing we need is conceding the away goal, going back to the San Siro, and potentially with all their players back fit could be a nightmare. So I'm going to go 2-0. John is in the comments. John has also said 4-0 United as well. So John is very confident that United are going to put them away as well. I'm loving your confidence, John. If that happens, absolute fair play to you. But that's it. That's all for tonight, guys. Fantastic preview. Great opinions from all of you, and to be honest, all of you have cracked me up tonight as well. So it was a nice laugh and a good crack as well. So do you know what I mean? This is my third show. I'm on shows literally since 7 o'clock this evening. So it was a great way to end the grind. Do you know what I mean? With a laugh and obviously talking about United as well. I do appreciate all of you coming on because you're all very busy. Greg, you've kept me company a lot over this week as well on the channel. So big ups to you as well coming on the last couple of days as well. Fair play to you. And you know, we will be back tomorrow. Obviously, I said I was going to do content every day in the channel since I'm off work this week. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to go live at lunchtime tomorrow and just talk about my thoughts in the game, talk about all things Manchester United, all the latest news and transfer rumors, and also what I think we should do in the summer transfer window. And so I'm going to be breaking that down in depth tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. On the channel, so I'll have that advertised. I'll have the link up in the description, and that'll be fine. So just before we actually finish up, and give everyone a chance to shout out the socials and where you can catch them on YouTube as well. Greg, where can our viewers catch you?
Yeah, so it's just on Twitter at Greg_D_Chambers. Come on there, I'll have a chat about football. I also do some writing for All for United as well, so you can read some articles. I did one through the week on Dean Henderson and David De Gea and who should be our number one. So go and have a read of them and come and have a chat with me on Twitter.
Amy, where can our viewers catch you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and it's U18. I'm also on the Weekly Armchair on Three Devils and a Gooner, and you can find me on She Devils United.
Bitz N Bobz. Yeah. So what? Where can we find you?
Yeah. So what? Still got the catches phrase on YouTube so far. Catch me on Twitter at Bitz N Bobz _ YouTube, Bitz N Bobz. I'm also the host of the Football Terrace United show. So yeah, you can check me out on there. Man, thank you so much for coming. Mate, anytime I come on this, I laugh. And I'm like, this is so good. Do you know what I love about you, mate, is that you make it so conversational. You make everyone relax and stuff. So I'm very grateful. So thank you. Thank you so much. Amy, always enjoy your company, to be honest, as well as looking at you as well. So good. Greg, it's nice to hear your Scottish accent. So big up to you, man.
Makes a change from the Irish ones you hear every week.
You said that, not me, my friend. No, but yeah, find me on those channels. You know, I'm gonna do a watch along Keane tomorrow, just for the sake of it. So hop on if you want, mate. You know, seriously. I'm trying to do a bit more as well on YouTube. Because a lot of people message me and say you need to do this, you need to do that. So, yeah. Listen, great show. Thank you for having me on, man. Seriously.
Absolutely. And look, it's a pleasure to have you on, and it's a pleasure to have everyone else on as well. Do you know what I mean? It's always good to get opinions. And also for our viewers, do like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because look, it goes a long way in terms of helping us support and helping us grow and helping us, you know, to give us more motivation to do the channel. So please do that. And as always, look, I'll be back tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. We're out here.